Frank, when car dealers are thinking about robotics, what are the important things for them to consider?
I think like any other purchase that they're going to make, they have to obviously look at it from the standpoint of really understanding how it's going to add value to their company and business. And the good news is with robotics, it's really more seamless than they think. And it's a way for them to drive not only a more progressive approach to how they run their company, but it's also a way to drive efficiency and cost savings and labor savings.
From the Aishin Broadcast Studio, it's the Executive Spotlight.
Welcome to the AutoSuccess Executive Spotlight. I'm your host, Brian Ankney. Today our guest is Frank Rexach from JetX. Welcome, Frank.
Thank you.
Hey, we're really excited to have you here today. We're going to talk about all things robotics.
Great. Looking forward to it.
So let's step back from robotics just for a second and let's talk about the wash bay. You know, Every dealership has some dirty, dingy place where they take cars to make them cleaner, and it's always kind of been an afterthought, kind of like something that you had to do but didn't really want to do. You know, with some of the new technologies and robotics available today to dealerships, you know, what are the opportunities that exist there?
Well, I think you said it absolutely perfectly. It used to be an afterthought, and I think it led to some bad decisions because when you look at obviously driving the type of efficiencies that you need in a dealership, you need to think about that service flow and how you're going to be managing your vehicle output. And now with robotics, you have a way to have a clean sheet of paper when it comes to that whole service bay and wash bay area. Instead of having antiquated equipment that's a headache to try to manage and maintain, you now have an opportunity to bring in equipment that can actually leapfrog you in terms of your capabilities and remove a lot of those headaches when it comes to making sure that you have an efficient platform to service your new vehicles as well as your customers in terms of the best service outcomes.
Well, now, a lot of dealerships would love to have, state-of-the-art equipment to wash cars, and a lot of them, they have a constraint around space. They don't, they would love to have 10 more service bays.
Right,
they would love to have a tunnel car wash. What does it look like today with robotics? Like what can you say to a dealership who says, I just don't have the space?
Yeah, and I think you have to go back and understand why didn't they have the space. I think the whole idea of washing vehicles was never really at the top of mind when it came to the architect. And it's not only the space to wash the car, but you really have to look at the flow of vehicles through the facility. And as the demands increased, as dealerships have done exceptionally well, all of a sudden they're handcuffed because when they need to implement the type of equipment that they can to drive that throughput and performance, they don't have the space to do it, as you said. But with robotics now, you have the opportunity to leverage that existing space. And we have products. We have a product called the A0, for example, that can retrofit an existing bay. You don't have to do any type of civil works. And if you have a little bit of land still available for high throughput, we have a mini tunnel that doesn't require that type of reconstruction of the space in the lot to be able to drive that type of performance. So I think robotics is giving these dealers an opportunity to not have to completely redesign or redeploy what they have in their existing space, but actually retrofit in a very easy way with this type of equipment.
A lot of dealers would love to have modern car washing equipment. They would love to be able to have clean new and used cars as well as clean their customers' cars when they're in for service. But they also don't want to get involved with something that they don't know how to maintain and be worried about reliability. What would you say to those dealers?
Yeah, I think that was really the problem that's plagued a lot of the dealers that we've spoken to, is that when they went in and began investing in this equipment, they had some bad experiences when it came to the old mechanical type of car wash equipment. And so they had different types of equipment across different locations. And the nice thing about having a robotics-oriented solution is that, first of all, when you implement it, you're able to have a lot less manual intervention. A lot of it is managed in terms of the automation, which removes a lot of that type of interference or necessary intrusiveness. But also, because they're built with a number of sensors, or they call the IoT or Internet of Things, it allows the equipment to be more predictive. and be able to flag when things need to be looked at so that you can do more proactive maintenance. And as a company, we actually have what's called a command center. We have 6,000 car washes deployed in Asia today, for example, where one person in this command center can manage 500 different locations. So they're able to monitor, and when something goes wrong, they can either reset it themselves or they can let the maintenance team know what to actually fix so that they can go in already with the right tools to provide that level of service. And we're developing that same command center here in the US, that same technology. And the idea is we don't want this to be a headache anymore for the dealership. We don't want this to be something they have to outsource. We want them to be able to leverage their own teams, to be able to manage like any other part of the dealership, and to do that cost effectively across multiple locations.
Wow, so with that command center, it's kind of like having an alarm system that's monitored. So you've got an expert somewhere that's keeping track of my system, and if it needs a simple reset, it's a simple reset. But if something goes down or there's a part that's getting close to needing to be replaced, you could give me some preventative maintenance. Or, in a situation where something would break, when the technician shows up, they've got the right part on the truck and the tools to fix it. I mean, did I get that right?
It's exactly right. Because again, any type of downtime in a dealership business is a disaster. You really want to try to eliminate that to the best degree possible. But if something does go wrong, you want to make sure it's laser focused and fixed. You don't want to have to wait for it to be repaired for days. And again, if you have multiple locations, it makes it even a bigger headache for the operations person. And they can look at their app and see across all their sites how the equipment is doing, what the performance is, what the metrics are. So all of a sudden, they can also have a lot less worries or headaches when it comes to management of those different locations, and they can focus on more important things.
I hadn't even thought about the ability of leadership to actually get a glimpse into what the car wash is doing, because it's really easy to say we're going to wash every customer's car when they pick up before they pick up their car from service, but then it's 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, and that doesn't always happen. But if you're able to open an app on your phone and say, well, hold on a second, we had 100 ROs today and the car wash only ran 45 times, there's a major disconnect there.
Exactly. And again, it's a dashboard, just like technology is being used today in many other ways that's helping to make people more efficient. We're just bringing that to the dealership in an area that's always been a problem for them. We're turning it into more of an asset.
That actually leads directly into to my next question. This is the part of the conversation I've been excited about all day. So Frank, we've talked a lot about how the dealerships can improve the way that they're washing, their new and used vehicles and their customers' vehicles. But there's another opportunity there that most dealers maybe have never thought of, or maybe they've heard of for the first time recently, and that's customer-facing car wash. Let's take a little time and talk about that. Tell me about your vision.
Well, I'm very envious of car dealers because the owners have always looked at their business through the lens of real estate. They've always understood the power of where it's located. They've understood the traffic that comes by their car wash. But they really haven't leveraged that platform to be able to take advantage of incremental income that they could be getting, both in terms of new potential customers that are coming through for the first time, who could be washing their car in a more consumer-facing way, as you said, or getting the loyalty of their existing clients who've bought a car from their dealership, and providing them a different type of an amenity that would make them come back again, because they're going to have kids, they're going to have friends. And we have a franchise model, which is called JetX, and with that extra real estate that a lot of these car dealers have, they can actually put up in a very small lot, just about 1/4 of an acre. They can put a mini tunnel, and they can take advantage of that traffic flow. They can offer memberships at special rates for their existing clients to give them a different perk. And again, they can engage with new clients in ways that they never have before.
Well, I mean, we talked about, ROs before, but, if you look at a car dealership, maybe you have 15 people that walk in the showroom every day, and maybe you have 50 or 100 or maybe a bigger store, even more ROs who drive into service every day. I don't know how many car washes out there only see 120 people a day.
Yes.
So you want to talk about exponentially increasing the number of eyeballs that see your cars. I mean, all I envisioned when you told me about that is all of my used car inventory would be lining the line to get in the car wash, right?
That's right. That's right. And it's not just during the hours that you're open, right? If you have a robotic solution like our express car wash solution, you have the ability to have that be unmanned. So in the hours that you're not operating your car dealership, you could be making that incremental income and getting those eyeballs.
Wow. I mean, I just kind of envision all these extra people that happen to be on the lot getting exposure to the vehicles. I mean, I even think on a slow day, maybe you send your salespeople out there with towels.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly.
Or you go over or maybe you put a sign up that says, come on in and we're interested in buying your car.
Yeah.
That just seems like why wouldn't you want to have all that additional traffic on your lot?
And I've been to a few of the dealerships that have done a really good job with the waiting experience when you're getting your car serviced. They have great coffee. They've done a deal with an operator to provide great cafe food. But if you bring that more towards the street and you build it into a whole car wash experience, all of a sudden, you don't really see where the B2C is and where the B2B is. It starts to blur. And I think that's really the advantage is you can build your own brand as a dealership, get that additional experience of the consumer-facing side with a franchise business, and at the same time, you can position yourself for what's going to be the future of mobility.
Interesting. Now, I did want to ask you about some of these robo-taxis. Tell me about, dig a little deeper into that opportunity and what that will look like for dealers.
Yeah, robo-taxis, as you probably know, are starting to pop up, and there are certain cities that are going in very aggressively, but it is going to become ubiquitous across the United States. And I think there's a real interesting part of that operation. And as JetX, we're already taking care of that side of the market in Asia. We're doing a lot of work with robo-taxi businesses because those same robo-taxis that are going out and picking up passengers, they need to be washed, they need to be maintained, they need to be charged. And so we provide the washing and the charging piece of that experience. And that's done today in central depots where those cars go back and after hours are actually then charged and washed. But we think the future is going to be more of a decentralized situation because that time of going from the passenger to a depot is wasted miles, it's wasted money. And so that means you're going to have an opportunity for decentralized hubs to be able to service those fleets. And dealers are in the best position to do that. And they can do that after hours. They can do that at times where their lots are not being utilized. They have the real estate. So all they need to do is use the same car wash robotic equipment that we're providing. They could even put in the automatic charging equipment for those robo-taxis that we provide. And it will provide them that additional source of income after hours and connect them into the new mobility future.
Let's stick with that for a minute. The new mobility future. Like what? Give me your vision for 5 years, 10 years from now. Like how a smart dealer would be fitting into that.
Yeah, I think they first have to understand that they can be a node in that network, and if they equip their locations to be able to do the washing, the charging, and the maintenance, and they already have two of those three pieces of the pie today, as well as they have it in a robotic way, because those cars have to be recognized when they come through the lot. They have to be recognized in terms of license plate recognition. They have to know what type of car it is to be able to wash it properly, to not affect the LiDAR or the unique sensors that they have. If they have all of those things and the right traffic flow, all of a sudden they're becoming part of the value proposition, and they can go to the big operators of these robo-taxis and say, count us in, we're here to support you. Then you look at just the normal consumer, and the normal consumer is going to move more towards their own self-driving capabilities within their own vehicles. And they may decide while they're asleep that they want to get their car washed and charged or just washed while they're asleep, and they'll put it into self-driving mode, and it will come back, it'll wash at the local dealership and come back to them ready to go the next morning to go to work. So it's about thinking about where things are going directionally, but more importantly, leveraging the assets you have as a dealership. And we think the dealers are in a very unique position to take advantage of that future.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, like if you and I were going to get into, my rental car right now and we were going to drive 5 states away, we wouldn't only stop for gas at one brand of gas station,
Yes.
right? We would go to where it was convenient.
Yes.
And so with the robo-taxis going everywhere, why would they go back to a central hub? It makes more sense that there'll be a network of dozens or hundreds or thousands of places in any market where 3 cars can go, 10 cars can go, 15 cars can go.
Exactly.
And get cleaned, get maintenance, get charged. I mean, heck, we didn't bring it up yet, but I mean, they do get in accidents too, and
That's
dealers
right.
have body shops, so
Yeah.
there's an opportunity there as well.
Yeah, you don't want to, be asleep at the wheel, pun intended, I'd say, in this situation as a dealer. You've already done the most difficult part, which was investing in the right real estate, investing in the right service infrastructure, built your own personal brand as a dealership. You're connected to the community. You've done all those things right. So you've got to see where the world's shifting and take advantage of that platform to capture that additional revenue. And that's not at the expense of your existing customer base, because a lot of this is going to be after hours. So you have to think about sweating your real estate, making your location 24/7, and capturing that additional revenue while everybody else is asleep at the wheel.
Yeah.
So to speak.
Yeah. Well, is there anything more you'd like to share with our audience today, Frank?
Well, I think we're excited to be connecting to the auto dealer locations and channel. For us, it's new. We've been focusing more on the B2C side. In other parts of the world, we're already working with big brands on the auto dealer side, like Tesla and Toyota and Lexus, and Mercedes. And we're really interested in the U.S. market now. We're more aggressively going into the market. We'll be very visible starting at the back end of this year. And we want to be able to connect and talk to dealers to find out where they're going directionally, how we can add value, share some of our experiences that might help them look at that future path, and how to step into that in a seamless way. We just want to be part of the community.
Yep. Well, and I mean, dealers are always looking for a new revenue stream, and you take a car wash that faces customers and you throw 2 or 3 or 5,000 monthly customers that have a membership. That's a big revenue stream for a little tiny piece of your property.
Yeah, and it's a time, I have to say, the thing about car wash, the business that I've learned, and I'm new to this myself, is that it used to be a lot of pain to go into the car wash business, into the express wash business. You don't want to get your hands dirty, and this is a chance now with the robotic platform that we've built. If we have 6,000 locations, you can imagine we're the biggest player in the world in this space. It's because we're able to scale it and do it in an easy way for people to get involved and capture this, just instead of going into self-storage or into laundromats. And dealers already have this DNA. They understand how to make money. They understand real estate. This is now a way for them to get into this segment and to do it both to the consumer, but also for their own operations.
Well, I really appreciate you coming in today.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for taking the time to join us for this AutoSuccess Executive Spotlight. I'm your host, Brian Ankney. Today, our guest has been Frank Rexach from JetX. We hope to see you again on a future episode. This one's Over the Curb and Burning Gas.